Heyo, my Planet Coaster friends, Channel5 Alive here, and welcome back to another Coaster Spotlight Contest Edition. Today we have a massive, monumental creation. I can't wait to take a look at this closer, so stay tuned and let's check it out. Okay, welcome back everyone. Hope you're doing great today. We're getting right on into things with Dragon War, created by Kitch. And here they say, take part in this war between dragons fighting over the castle. Choose from the Storm King, Dark Drake, Earth Slayer, or Frost Beast and prepare for battle. Let me know what your favorite one is. Thank you so much for hosting another contest, Channel5 fam. We appreciate everything you do, and I hope you enjoy my latest creation, Kitch. And here they say, mix and match however you choose, and a combination of times and views, seat view, track view, chase view, you pick, and 2 p.m., 2 a.m., 5:45 p.m., and 7:15 a.m. Don't care which goes in which view or order, surprise me. I like it! Giving me options, but some direction. I like it a lot. Let's get right into this. Here we go. Coaster fam! Welcome, traveler. This looks freaking epic, as you guys would have saw from some of the cinematics. I didn't even know there was 4 coasters, to be honest. I didn't get cinematics of the coasters like I normally do. The cinematics was just all of this amazing dragonness. Holy good googly moogly. Good freaking moogly. What in the world? What an epic bridge, by the way. Look at these dragons. They're made out of terrain, but decorated with pieces. It's freaking nuts how big they are. I really want to know what the part count on this is. Holy bejesus, Kitch. Oh. I don't know if you guys saw the Exploration Coaster contest, but Kitch did one of my all-time favorite creations in that contest. And he's been somebody that I've been keeping an eye on. Dragon War. Even the sign is just so menacing, and it just towers over you. This is just outstanding stuff. I'm gonna pull us out and just take a look at some of this. Wow. That is just crazy. What is this one? Oh, that's the head. It's almost like a serpent. Ooh. All done with these, like, wooden blocks, too. I love the style. And then we have a sea serpent. Phenomenal. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. Let's start with the Frost Beast. Wait, is this the queue? What is going on here? It says Frost Beast. Do we go this way? Oh, are we already in the queue? I guess so. Huh. Well, would you look at that? Starting things off with the frosty one. Well, since this is Frost, but he might have some frosty blue lighting. I can see the lampposts. He asked for 2 p.m. Well, we're at 2 p.m. Let's stick with 2 p.m. and just hope for the best. But there is going to be nighttime lighting, and I'm assuming they're all lit kind of equally. Ooh, I don't know. My gut's telling me this is more of a nighttime ride. So we're going to go 5:45 p.m. as one of his nighttime preferences. Yes. And I do want to take a peek outside. Yes. All right. Yeah, it's just feeling very dungeonous and frosty, so. Wow, super epic queues. Some of the best in the contest so far. Wow. Ho, 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 ho. Hey. Okay, what do we have here? Torque launch coaster, part of a coaster trade, Frost Beast. There's, look at all the stats, 2,500 meters times 4. It's another 10,000 meter coaster, another world record. We have some pretty long coaster combinations in this contest thus far. And then they said seat view, track view, chase view, you take your pick. Well, for this frosty mongrel. We're gonna sit in the back of the change and look, look forward, back. That's better than Chase, I think, because the car is so tall. Chase would look like this. This looks better. We're going with this. Let's go! Holy freaking good googly moogly, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna flip it back to 2 p.m. the way we had it initially for the next creation. One thing I absolutely loved about that, I mean, I loved everything about it, but there's one thing that it stood out to me specifically. I really liked how we were going in between and underneath like the rafters and support system of the actual city itself. In between the bridges, all these wooden beams, you just like snuck the coaster through the tightest, most unassuming spots. And I just thought it was just visual eye candy. I would have to go as far to say, so far, from what I can see and everything that I saw on that coaster, it has some of the most detailed, intricate, impressive art combinations of like fantasy art combinations that we've seen in the contest so far. It's just insanely detailed, all in one spot. It kind of brings one of the other most detailed creations in this contest, I would add, say, is the invaded skylines from the advanced builder bracket, which was that sci-fi UFO city. This meets that kind of equivalent, but in fantasy setting. So really well done. I'm just absolutely loving it. The integration, like, not only is the fantasy done well, but the integration of dragons is done well. We see the dragons everywhere. Even on the coasters, there's that big battle with the two heads going at each other. It is just quite crazy. Really, really crazy. I feel like all these queues would have been great at nighttime. I'm not sure if 2 p.m. is my favorite so far. And this one too, I feel like this would be better at night. So, but it is what it is. He asked us to give a variety, and that's what we're doing. So we're going on Dark Drake next, which is also a Torque launch. I think they're all going to be that. There's a look at the stats if you want to see them, but we'll switch it up. he asked for seat view and track view, so we'll do track view for this one. We're doing 2 p.m., although this one would have been way better at night. My bad, but we're just kind of randomizing it, so let's go. Holy crap, that felt like an entirely different experience altogether. I am actually really surprised by that. We're gonna flip it over to 2 a.m. because that was one of his preferred lighting suggestions. Take a look at this boarding room while we're still here. Amazing lighting. Yeah, that was a completely different experience, and he asked in the beginning for us to pick our favorites. You're gonna have to watch these through, guys, and leave a comment down below what your favorite was. But I'm already like needing to rewatch the first one to compare it to this one. I already can't tell the difference between the two, and I don't know which one of those two that I like better. It's one of those things where I'd have to like have them all side by side on one screen or something. Yeah, like wow, it just felt so much different. I don't know how to pick a favorite of those two. I don't know how I'm gonna pick a favorite after riding all dragons exit in here. Oh, I went out the entrance, that's why. The Storm King. I'm just gonna have to pay a real close attention to the next two from here on out and see if there's one that particularly stands out to me and kind of wows me. But that's kind of the weird thing, is that they're all wowing me. Even the queues are just insanely different from one another. And the fact that those two coaster experiences were heavily dueling, but heavily different, man, this is like a heavy competitor for the top 10 overall. By far one of the strongest submissions in the entire contest. And that's saying a lot, because this has been the most competitive contest in Channel 5 Gaming's coaster contest history. You guys have all done amazing jobs, and if we were to just take like the top 10 killer creations out of the equation and we looked at the, say, the, you know, the 11th to 20th runners up, those are amazing creations. And then your next 10, those are amazing creations. Like, you could take all of the creations and run them down, and they're all freaking amazing. There's so many potential good creations in this contest that it's just absurd. And I can't wait to do the results video and talk more about it. Wow, look at the glitter bomb in this room. It's so magical and so different from the others. I loved all of them so far, but I think this is my favorite boarding station room so far. I have to take another look at the other ones though. So this one is the Storm King. It's not what I expected because we saw lightning in the cauldron out front, and I was thinking we're gonna come in here and see a lot of like electricity and stuff. But the fact that this is more, it's like there's what do you call it? I don't know the word for it, but there's a telescope in here, and there's all these like, it almost feels like a spacey kind of theme. Doesn't seem like something you would expect when you think of the Storm King. Feels like planetarium kind of thing, but in fantasy times. I'm not sure the wording for it, but it feels kind of like a mage's tower as well. It's fairly interesting. I like this room a lot, and I'm a big fan of blue, and there's some blue sparkles. So anyways, Storm King, great across the board, amazing stats yet again. Lateral G's and G-force are a little bit high, but I don't really care for this coaster. He's done a good job. You can go over the lateral G's and the G-forces as long as you create a good experience for it's a video game. Let's go. Man, oh man, oh man, I'm having a hard time with this. I'm having the hardest time I've ever had with any video ever because, wow, words. Oh, first of all, we gotta switch this to 7:15 a.m. That's the only time we haven't tried yet out of his requested times. Yeah, so I'm struggling with this because after riding the second coaster, I was like, these are really, really different. And it's unassumingly, surprisingly different. So going into the third coaster, I'm paying more attention. And I'm noticing this is the Storm Coaster, the Storm King, and I'm looking at the boarding station, and I'm seeing on the coaster, I'm like, are we gonna see lightning elements? There's certainly segments where it was stormy and lightning, and that was personal experience to the Storm Coaster itself. Now I'm thinking, was there something that I missed that was more about the Dark Drake, like more fiery, purple, smoky stuff? And what about the Frost? Now I kind of feel like I need to rewatch these. in order to choose my favorite. When I went into the first coaster, I wasn't trying to pay too much attention to the frost. I was just trying to pay attention to all the dueling and the fantasy. Going into the second one, I started noticing the major differences, still not paying attention to the dark elements. So I can see how much effort he's put into making them different, and going into the third one, I had to pay attention to the whole package, and I can completely notice that I saw a lot of stormy elements. So with that said, let's pay attention to the Earth Slayer and see what we can find different about this one. So wow, it's gonna be one of those things where I'll probably go back and watch the first two coasters in the editing process, and maybe I'll change my mind on what my favorite is. But so far, I think Storm King is my favorite. I love the queue. I love the boarding station room. I like all four of them. It's like choosing... It's like choosing your favorite pizza. I love all pizza. I'd be happy with any pizza at this point. But if I had to choose, I'd go with pepperoni. The most basic, the most classic, but delicious. And for me, the Storm King, I just love the lightning elements as well. Yeah, there's certain things that stood out to me. This is really cool, though. Wow. I do have to say, before we get on this, it's funny that every time we get to the time it takes to get down the queue, the coaster has already done another lap and as at the boarding station with perfect timing, absolutely perfect timing. Well, I have to say that your queues and your stations, they're being all four distinct, super detailed, and four of them all together, the most impressive in the entire contest, I would say, because they're just so unique and they capture so much personality, oozing with fantasy, yet all different. My personal favorite queue walks throughout the contest. Love it. So there's the stats on this one, green across the board. And for this last one, we're gonna also go to the back, because everybody loves that one. This will be the one view that we do twice. Oh wait, I feel like every time we watch it, I just notice more and more details. Like I didn't see the knights battling on the bridge until the last run there for whatever reason. There's just so much to look at and so much to see that I start noticing more things every time we ride it. I don't know why I didn't see them before, but yeah, I just noticed it a little bit more. I don't even think that was that bridge, but there was one spot that I was like, this is just epic. There's so many knights. There's a lot of them. How did I not notice any of them before? Holy crap. There's just so much happening. It's insane. Now, after riding that fourth one, I was looking to see if there was going to be any boulders rolling, any sandy rocks falling from the roof, or any caves that we go into to represent the earth. And then I started noticing that the lightning was apparent in that one. So maybe it all kind of just blends together. So that would be my one feedback for you on this creation, that maybe just pushing that versus theme a little bit further to personalize each one of those experiences, where we get a little bit more of that purple magic and darkness on that ride, and we get a little bit more of that frosty element on this ride, where maybe we just have a little bit of like we go off into an Arctic adventure and come back, even if it's just briefly, you know, that sort of thing. And the lightning is more tailored towards the one experience, but then you have like the chaotic crossover where it all happens at once. I like the idea of boulders rolling past you and stuff like that, going through a cave and rocks falling and dust in your face. So maybe for me, you could have pushed that versus element just a little bit more tailored and personal to each of the experiences, where there was something clearly signifying them to being different and standing apart. You've done it though with the boarding stations, you've done it with the queues, so I can't really complain. You're doing this is legendary quality, and I would say throughout the whole contest so far, there's a lot of people that didn't really push the versus element as far as it could have been, and it's been a little bit lost in the process of the dueling, because it's very hard to create something that's consistently dueling but also on its own, unless it verges off from the rest and comes back. But that was the idea. That was what I was hoping a lot of people would do, is create somewhat of a moment on the coaster that was just tailored specifically for that experience, separating the two so that they're not constantly dueling. That's me just being gripey. You know, which I got to give some feedback even on the best of creations where I think I can. And I do think that that is a valid critique. But the package overall, as a total, as a whole, is just breathtaking. This whole scene here was just freaking phenomenal. And I didn't realize how big it was. Look how long that section is. You're going from all the way down there, all the way to this bridge and underneath the bridge. It's like a quarter of the park or the map. And I thought that was the most insane thing I've ever seen on any coaster experience ever. Like the amount of weaving and dipping and in and out, and like, what the heck, that building there, what is that under here? Whoa, what's over there? Coaster, boom, coaster, oh, whoa, coaster. It was just, what? Boom, brains against the wall moment. Blew my mind. Absolutely. There's just so much going on here. I don't even know what to say anymore. It's crazy. That was just a truly marvelous. To create 4 creations like this with those personal cues, whew. Like I said, in terms of comparing it to other creations in terms of detail, the Invaded Skylines blew my brains out with the amount of detail they did it in a sci-fi setting. You're equaling that and going above that, I would say, in a fantasy setting. But what you did better was you made the queues personalized, the boarding stations personalized, and your dueling aspects were spot on. There was issues with the Invaded Skylines where it wasn't quite dueling, it wasn't quite synchronized, and it was struggling, and the themes weren't exactly separated in any way. So this is going to come out to me as one of the most like mind-blowing, artistically crazy scale creations in the contest. There's so many different things that I would give awards to, because like everybody's done something amazing in their own way. I could look at the most unassuming creations. There's been a few, like for example, Frostburn from the expert bracket. Blubber might not be crazy detailed like this, might not be like the most masterful artwork, but I feel like he did the spirit of the contest better than anyone, just creating that personal experience. And like I can point out any given creation throughout this contest so far and say they did this better than anyone else, or they did this you know. And there's so many of them. But Kitch is coming together and kind of bringing the whole package. But like I said, I think if you would have just created a tailored experience for each one of your 4 themes, that would have been the one final thing sealing the deal for me. And I'd be like, this is unbeatable. So, you know, while near perfect, there has to be something to improve on always, because we're not, you know, we have to always strive for something more. So I'm always looking for holes to poke, and that would be my little tiny pin in the wall. But other than that, absolutely breathtaking. What did you guys think? What do you have to add to that? What was your favorite of the 4 coasters? I still think I'm going to stand out by the Storm King, and I'm basically basing it off the queue at this point, because I can't even really tell coaster-wise. Like, it's just, blah. My brain just mashed it all together. So I'm basing my favorite off the queue. What was your favorite queue and why? Could you tell? Yeah, just leave your comments down below. Fire away, you guys. Say whatever you want to say. Leave your thoughts for Kitch. And between this coaster contest and the last one, and what, Kitch is definitely on my radar. He's one up-and-coming legend. Probably should be legend by now. And just blowing me away with your stuff, man. So don't stop what you're doing. Looking forward to what you do next. So Trek Exploration Coaster was the one that just surprised me. Yeah, Kitchy Kitch, man. Really good stuff. Okay, that's gonna do it for me in today's episode. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next, or in the last submission for the Master Builder bracket. Bye now.